Rachel Marshall is like most women. This stay-at-home mom of two likes bags and especially rings. In fact, she decided to take her fitness to another level and signed up to be boxer for a night. Rachel has always had a special passion for sport, right from the word go.
I've always been active. I thoroughly enjoyed sport from a very, very young age, and I knew instantly that running was the thing I wanted to do, and that was what my main aim was. But I will do anything. I love football, cricket, hockey. We've always been an active family. We're all very sporty. My mum, dad, sister, brother and I do activities together. And in fact, we all excelled at sport at school, and we are all excellent runners.
Born and raised in northeast England, Rachel is the youngest of three. From very young, her parents always encouraged Rachel to pursue her dreams.
I remember when maybe I was 7 or 8 years old that my mum suggested that, you know, I may want to try ballet. And I was okay, I'll give it a try. So we went and we bought all the gear that you needed, the equipment, the shoes, the tutu, the leotard, everything. My mum spent a lot of money and I tried. I went to maybe 4 or 5 sessions and I was like, you know what, Mum? I don't like it. And she was, okay, it's fine, don't worry, let's try something else. Not once did she ever say, I've spent so much money, I want you to go back. She just supported my decision and said, let's go and find something else that you want to do. I want you to pursue your dreams, and that's what I did.
And Rachel certainly had her dreams.
From a young age, right, my dream was to enter the Olympics and to win a gold medal at the Olympics. I knew it was going to be something to do with athletics. And then when I realised my niche was the hurdles, and I trained really hard, seriously for probably about 6 years in total, entered a lot of competitions, won some, lost some, and got to a level where it was quite close. Was this what I wanted to do for the rest of my life?
Nature, however, had other plans for her.
When I got to maybe 16 years old, I realised I wasn't going to be tall enough and something had to give. So it was at that point where I knew I wasn't going to fulfil my dream of entering an Olympics. And then I decided if it wasn't going to happen, I needed to concentrate on my education.
But her love for sport remained.
It seemed the natural progression to be a PE teacher. So I went to Liverpool University and I trained as a primary school teacher but specialised in physical education. The reason why I did it was not only because I wanted PE to be a part of my life, but I also wanted to give back to others, the commitment, the happiness and everything I received from it as a child as well. And from my experience, PE has played such a great part in building children's self-esteem. Not only do you don't necessarily have to be the most intelligent child in the class, but what you can be good at something, and it's just finding that something, developing it and evolving it as a teacher and bringing the best out in the child.
Sport was so much a part of her, it was even pivotal in her love life.
I first met Lee at the age of 11 at the inter-school sports day, where all the local primary schools get together to do athletics together.
My first impressions of when I saw Rachel at that inter-school sports day was, wow, she's an exceptionally fast runner, and she was winning every race going. And then I looked down and she had all this fantastic sports equipment that none of us had. So I thought, wow, she must come from a wealthy background. I have to follow her.
And then 7 years later, we met through friends again, mutual friends, and I did become a little bit obsessive and kept calling around his house, seeing if he wanted to go out.
Obsessive? I would call you more of a stalker.
A little bit. So now pretty much what we do together, the sports we do together, we jog together. A little bit of swimming. In the gym, we do go to the gym quite regularly together.
But we are generally active, especially when we've got 2 young children as well to look after, but we do try and do things as much as we possibly can together.
Yeah.
But balance that between the kids and the activities.
But a leap of faith was in store for the couple. In 2003, Lee was promoted to head his department in Singapore. Rachel followed too, and with her, a new course of her own to chart.
I was actually 5 months pregnant at the time. I'd never been to Asia before in my life. I was so nervous about coming over, being pregnant, what to expect, the heat, the humidity, completely different to anything I'd experienced in the UK before. And I didn't know about a doctor. Who was I supposed to see? I didn't know anybody to help me.
But Singapore and the pregnancy proved smooth sailing for this sporty mom.
I stayed active. Instead of running, I mainly walked, and also I did quite a bit of swimming, which I really enjoyed, and I found that helped with my rest as well, helped with the sleeping too.
Today, Singapore is very much home to them, especially since their second child was also born here.
Benjamin, he is 19 months and he is the active toddler. He actually runs faster than me, and I have such a hard time keeping up with him. I think he's the fastest runner in the whole family, so watch out for him in the future Olympics. And my daughter now, she's enrolled in many different classes which she loves. Her favourite being swimming, gymnastics, tennis and ballet.
And Singapore is also special to Rachel for another reason. This is where she found an outlet for her current sporting passion.
When my daughter was about 4 weeks old, I joined a baby group with about 10 other mums, and it was actually the place I met Sandy and Ian.
Ian Mullane is the owner of a sports event and management company and the founder of a boxing club. He organized the first white-collar boxing charity fight night in Singapore in 2007.
White-collar boxing, which is a boxing which is not professional or amateur. It's the bringing together of a group of men and women who've never participated in boxing in any form before. The qualification criteria is to have had no ring time at all, where they are trained for a predetermined period of time, in this case 12 weeks, so they become competent and capable and safe enough for us to put on an event.
Rachel and Lee were invited to one such fight night, and then...
Whilst watching the boxing, and I thought, you know what? Like, I could do that. I couldn't think of one single reason why I couldn't possibly get in the ring and do what the girls were doing that evening.
In 2008, Rachel stepped into the ring for 12 weeks of intense training. Ian personally trained her through the course, and even one of Singapore's national female boxers, Michelle Tavasi, pitched in on the punching lessons. Although Rachel was a seasoned sportswoman, this was her first attempt at contact sports, and the reality of it hit her hard.
The worst part was the sparring at the 4 weeks at the end, because then you are physically taking punches on the head and you're also throwing punches out. And then, to be honest, the first time I did it, I just forgot everything, and it was terrible, and I cried because I think it was just overwhelming that I was sparring with somebody and she kept hitting me in the head and I didn't know what to do and I couldn't remember anything, and I got so upset and I thought, I can't do this, I can't do this.
Rachel also had to make sure her children were not confused by the seeming violence of the sport.
We sat down as a family and we just explained that boxing is a sport. Had she heard of boxing before, which she had, that Mummy goes to the boxing club and Mummy practices doing boxing, and that it's fine. And we talked about the difference between boxing in a ring and then also violence outside, in the outside world. And she was always accepting of the fact. So what we did as a family